It's finally that time of year again. It's Homefront time. So there's obviously, just like we do with every event, there's two main places you can get information. One is going to be the HopUp event, and the other, if you scroll down in the HopUp event, and you will see right in here, boop boop boop, for pictures, blah 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 blah. This little Google link that'll get you to the Google Slides, which we call the check-in and format guide. Now, just like with always, in the check-in and format guide, there's gonna be maybe more specific information, picture details, because it's a little harder to customize the hop up event and make it like user friendly. So that's why I use Google Slides to make things more user friendly. Tickets are going to drop the 28th of September. Today, right now, it is the 24th of September. It's almost 5 p.m. From the 28th to the 12th of October, tickets are going to be $40 tickets, but there's also going to be like hop up fees and stuff. So from the 20th to the 12th of October, and you can see it right here. Whee! All in, it's only $43.77. Now, this is just like last year. It's going to be a one-day event. It's on the 18th of November, and we're going to roll from 8 a.m. till about 4 p.m. If for whatever reason you're not able to buy your tickets between the 28th and the 12th, the normal ticket price is $50, and if you walk on, it's going to be $70. Now, this also includes free admission to the night game on the 17th, which is that Friday, and you can also camp out in the parking lot for free, just like we did last year. Last year we had about, I'd say 20 guys, give or take, somewhere in there, maybe like 10 to 15, 20 guys somewhere in there, camping out in the parking lot. Yellow Rocks, we probably had 20 to 25 camping out in the parking lot. So there's usually a good amount of dudes that will camp out Friday, get their early check-in stuff done, play a little, and then camp out and wake up and do the event. So we're running it a little bit differently this year as far as the lore goes. I kind of rewrote the whole event, so we're not doing like 1st Infantry versus 345th. Now it is the, right here, the New American Congress versus the Motherland Forces. Where did I put those guys? Versus the Motherland Forces with the Militishnikov. So if you're familiar with like Milsim West lore, you know there's NATO and then Rus 4, and within Rus 4 is the militia. So that's sort of what I mimicked. So Motherland Forces is just guys that want to cosplay like Russians, like Russian regular soldiers, and then the militia guys. Gameplay is going to be similar to what we did last year, so there's still your three main patrol bases, which are your capture points, and every 30 minutes you're awarded points. We're adding a radio tower, which has a point denomination, and a mortar pit, which has a point denomination, and they also have specific things you can do. Commanders will also be assigned different missions throughout the day that will have varying point values, and that's going to be anything like assassinate command staff. So I've got some stuff written up for that. Standard control a point, plant a bomb at a point, defuse a bomb, some supply stuff. So like take this person or this objective from here to here, and then the other team may or may not have that information, so maybe they have to intercept kind of stuff. So compared to last year, there's way more to do. Radio tower is worth 5 points for every 30 minutes, but if you have your platoon leader within the vicinity of the radio tower, the special ability you get is you can intercept enemy transmissions. So let's say one team has the radio tower, and higher headquarters gives the other team a mission. Well, since you have the radio tower, there's a decent chance that you're going to be able to intercept that transmission and basically stop them from performing that mission. A platoon leader or higher must be in the general vicinity in order for you to launch mortars, and I'll talk about that in a second. The big change that we made, probably the most significant change compared to last year, is we're doing a medic respawn rule. A medic water respawn rule. So just like last year, any one of your teammates can heal you if you're wounded. So they find you, they put your bandage on, and you're good to go. And you can have 2 bandages this year. Last year it was 3. This year it will be 2 bandages. But if you either bleed out or run out of bandages or whatever, you will have to call for a medic. A designated medic within your squad or platoon. They will give you a free bottle of water. You have to drink that bottle of water, give that back to your medic, and then you are alive. You research bandages, bing, bang, boom, there you go. The main thing that the points are going to allow your commanders to do is use special abilities or buy special abilities. So we have chemical warfare, which is 80 points. It's a red smoke grenade that we will drop in a pre-designated area, basically wherever the commander tells us. And if that red smoke touches an opposing player, that player is dead. Not wounded, they're dead. So they have to go back to respawn. The specific way to call for fire for a mortar strike is in the check-in format guide. Basically, you call in, your line or whatever, your grid and all that stuff. You can do 3 rounds max, and each of those rounds has a 30-minute cooldown. The actual effect that the opposing player will see is admins are just going to throw EG67s at dudes, and they get killed. Here's the other fun part. Medic water isn't necessarily unlimited. Now, we will buy a lot, for the game, but your commanders will have to keep buying cases of medic water to keep their medics supplied. So that's one of the in-game manageable resources. Just like in Milsim West, you have to keep control of how much medic water you have, keep account of everything, don't let the enemy take it, blah, blah, blah. We will be doing mobile respawns, similar to how we did them with Yellow Rocks. Basically, if you control one of the 3 capture points, you have to have a platoon, XO, or commander within the immediate vicinity, and you can, instead of going all the way to your main spawn or your main base to drink a medic water and reset your bandages, if that's what happens, you can go to your mobile respawn, get a medic water from the platoon leader there or whatever medic's there, reset your bandages, bing, bang, boom, get back to it. The uniform stuff I tried to clarify a little bit more this year. There's a small piece of it here on the HopUp event, and if you click over on the check-in guide, this little guy, go to the second slide, it has this cool little table of contents, and you just click on wherever you want to go, boom, there you go. For the new Continental Army, or US or NATO, as most guys usually end up saying, the big change we're making this year, I can't remember if we had it last year, that we may or may not, but for one of the things this year, if you are new Continental Army, you cannot use an AK type rifle. Now that's the only type you cannot use. Anything else is fine. M4s, P90s, Galils, whatever you want to do. Just no AKs. Patterns and colors for this year is basically any American military pattern, with a few exceptions, I'll go over that, or solid green, solid tan, or solid brown. Most everyone's usually either rocking multicam or Marpat or DCU. You'll see a few other things, here and there. For this one, this year, we're adding OD green and Desert Night camo for the US or for NATO, for the new Continental Army. This year, NCA is not allowed to wear the Navy Blue Digi Type 1, M81, Jungle Tiger Stripe, or UCP or ABU, which is that old school gray stuff. Keeping in mind that you have to wear the American military patterns. So if you wanted to wear like British desert camo, nope, you can't do that. American patterns only for the new Continental Army. These are just some picture examples down here. Once we switch over to the format guide, it's that same thing. The pants don't need to, so you don't have to have a full matching uniform, and your pants don't have to be faction colored for this one. So like right here in the picture, if you wanted to wear like a multicam top and black pants, even though black is not your faction color, it's the pants, we don't really care. It's the top that's the uniform piece. That's what we're going with. Your gear color also doesn't need to match. A lot of guys always ask me about gear color. I don't care what kind of gear you use. The only thing that is regulated as like a uniform item is your top. Now, specifically for the new Continental Army, you are not allowed to wear civilian stuff that is cam. So like those football hoodies that have like multicam pattern, or like an M81 long sleeve shirt, that doesn't fly. It has to be a military or tactical, whatever style top. Motherland Forces, or Rus 4, Russians, whatever you want to call it. Motherland Forces are more designed to look like Reg 4 or regular Russian army soldiers. So Motherland Forces are not allowed to use M4. No camogram, because it looks no one's going to be able to distinguish it from the NCA, and it's just not worth the hassle. And no camo patterns that could be reasonably confused for an NCA, which is really much just camogram. Motherland Forces It has to be a Russian pattern only and matching top and bottom. So any of the patterns is fine. I don't care if it's, you know, the retro stuff like the Partisan or new ATA. I don't care. But specifically for Motherland Forces, the tops and bottoms do have to match. So like in that side picture right in here, you couldn't have like a Partisan top with like Betty Zraka pants. For Motherland Forces, because again they're designed to look more like regular army soldiers, you have to be matching top and bottom. Gear color doesn't need to match. There's not a lot of guys that are really doing a lot of kosher stuff up here anyway, so I don't expect someone to do a matching gear stuff. You also cannot wear civilian stuff or something that could look civilian for Motherland Forces. So like you couldn't wear like a partisan t-shirt. No, it's got to be a military top. Gorkas are fine, snake suits are fine, that stuff's all fine. The Militishnikov, which is the combat zone take on militia, because it's the militia combined with Kalishnikov. I made Militishnikov because I think that's funny. Woodland M81 or any of its off variations are fine. You know, like the Kukla stuff or S2000, that all that is fine. Any pattern that's basically not covered in NCA or Motherland Forces that couldn't reasonably be confused for an NCA or a Motherland pattern, such as like your TAS 87 stuff, that's fine. Solid black, solid blue's okay. Blue M81 is fine, or like any blue digi, blue kind of camouflage is okay. UCP ABU is fine. Militishnikov can use M4s, they can use any gun type, that's okay. You can wear Russian camo pants, that's fine. So if you wanted to do like a partisan pants with a whatever top, that's fine. But no Russian tops for Militishnikov. Same thing, here's back over to the Google Slides. Here's, you know, some picture examples. This is the, you know, the non-year, so you got like your Fleck-Tarn and stuff like that. But specifically for the Militishnikov, civilian clothes is okay. So just like in the picture, if you wanted to wear a blue hoodie, that's totally fine for Militishnikov. So if you wanted to do a blue hoodie with ATAX pants, go for it. That is okay per Militishnikov uniform regulation. Standard equipment rules that we do for all of our events, no extended triggers, no feathering, stuff like that. For this event, you have to use mid caps that don't exceed a 250 capacity. So like those PTS EPM ones, those 250 mid caps, that's fine. But no winding magazines unless it's an LMG, that's fine. But if you're using like regular M4, you have to use mid caps. No melee kills and no shields. Both of these are just a hassle for big events, so we just pull them. We are going to be using Enola Gate products for this one. You could pre-order those. So EG67s are authorized, EG18s are authorized, but you have to pre-register them through us. You cannot bring outside Pyro. The way we're going to run our FPS and our MED rules is the same we've always done it for our events. You can scroll through here and look for like the specific gun types and stuff that you want. However, what we did change this year, now mind you, this change is not just for events, this is for our field. Obviously all BBs have to be biodegradable. However, max weight for snipers, DMRs, and LMGs is a 0.45. Now, you will still have to meet the joule limit with a 0.45, but if you're using a sniper, DMR, or LMG that has an MED limitation to it, you can use up to a 0.45. If you're using a 0 MED gun, your BB weight limit is 0.32. Here's how we're doing like our medic and our respawn stuff. Obviously, if you get shot anywhere on your person, gun hits don't count, but if you get shot anywhere on your person, you have two options. Option one, you pull your red rag out, put it on top of your head, and sit down. You don't kneel, you don't hold your red rag in your head and wave it like a flag. You get shot, you raise your hand, you yell hit, you pull out your red rag, you put it on your head, you sit your butt down. Not kneeling, you sit your butt down. Option two, you get shot anywhere on your person again, you enact a 3-second dramatic death, like basically what they call a Milsim wet death, like and then you lay down as if dead. So let's say you don't have a red rag for whatever reason, and you don't want to get shot over and over again. Act out a death and lay flat on your back, or on your tummy if you want, but you have to lay flat. You can't be sitting up or any of that crap. When you have a red rag on your head, or when after you've acted out your theatric death, you are considered wounded. While you are wounded, any one of your teammates on your faction can come up to you, you offer them one of your bandages, and they put that bandage on either arm, elbow, or higher. After that, you kind of square yourself away, get back up, keep shooting. Once you have that bandage on, take your red rag off, put it in your pocket or wherever, keep playing. If none of your teammates come put a bandage on you within 60 seconds, you are now dead. Once you are dead, a squad medic has to give you a medic water. Your teammates cannot give you a medic water. When you are dead, only a commander, an XO, or platoon leader, or a squad medic can give you a medic water. If they are not a squad leader, an XO, a platoon leader, or a medic, they cannot help you. If you go 30 seconds without anyone giving you a medic water, get your butt up, walk back to either your mobile respawn or your main base, and get a medic water from someone that can authorize to give you a medic water, drink it, square yourself away, get back to shooting again. I have kind of the short version of it in here. I also have, if you go to the check-in and format guide, if you go to the table of contents, click on medic rule, go to slide 42. Well, it's right now it's slide 42. Has the same thing. It has that consolidated rule set in here. Go to the next slide. Sort of simplifies basically the stages that you go through, the wounded and the dead stage, and your 3-second death and stuff like that. It also talks about what your bandages can be. If you've been to our events before, it's nothing new. It's just a lot of players were like, hey, can I use this napkin as a bandage? Well, no, you cannot use a napkin as a bandage. Here's some question and answers for you. Here's another thing. So for some of our events, players were getting shot after they were dead. Here was the problem. So I saw a few of these. It was dudes that were just like sitting on the ground, like propped up, just watching everything with a red rag in their hand. You can get shot like that. Let me clarify this right now. If you do not have a red rag on your head, wearing it like a hat, or if you are not laying flat down on your back or on your stomach, you're probably going to get shot, even though you're not supposed to get shot, because someone's going to go, oh, that guy's not acting out the proper death sequence. Bop, 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 bop. Hey, man, put your red rag on or play the rule. But what was happening was people got lazy. Like, oh, I just want to sit here and talk to people. Like, oh, quit shooting me. I've got my red rag. Like, even though you're sitting on it. Like, bro, come on. Task org is mostly going to be the same. You have your commanders and your platoon leaders. However, this year I am going to implement executive officers or XOs. I designed the XO to be kind of like a platoonless platoon leader. So let's say your commander wants you to take a capture point and then turn it into a mobile respawn. Well, in order for it to be a mobile respawn, if you read the rules, you have to have a leadership member there. So you can throw your executive officer in for that mobile respawn. That way the platoon leader can keep leading their platoon on different assaults. Does that make sense? That's really what the XO was designed for. One of the other things that the XO can kind of do is give the commander a break if the commander needs to go off the field for something, or if the commander wants to like go play with some dudes, or same thing with a platoon leader. If the platoon leaders, one of the platoon leaders needs to go to the restroom or kind of just wants to sit out for a couple minutes, or just generally needs to take themselves away from their platoon, you put the XO in as a platoon leader. That way we can kind of keep everything rolling. This is the game map. You noticed last year we had a spawn point here and our spawn point here for last year. For Yellow Rocks, this was the spawn setup we were kind of using. A lot of players told me they really like that, so we're going to do that again. It also helps me sort of keep the objectives fairly spread apart and make sure everyone's able to get some sweet BB fights in. So the new Continental Army or the NATO or the US guys are going to start at spawn point 1 right here. This is what we call Dollhouse. And the Motherland Forces, we're going to start right here at spawn point 2. Now remember, when I say Motherland Forces, I mean the Motherland Forces Russian soldiers as well as the Militishnikov. CP1 is going to be right here up at ambulance. CP2 is going to be roads. This is where like all those totes are. I will have a ref up here so we don't have players running on like the other side of this red line. Yellow Rocks, we did a pretty solid job of that. I don't realistically see that happening again, but each one of our events that we hold for Airsoft, we usually get 30 to 40 players who have never been to the field before. So we're going to keep a guy back here to sort of maintain the chaos that may happen. CP3 is going to be right here at that fort on the hill. And then our mortar pit is going to be at the very front of the field, and then the radio tower is going to be right here off to the front right as we see it. This is satellites. This is where they have that cool little truck in, all that other stuff. This is kind of the little hyperball field right in here. The chrono station and kind of this little spot right in here, just sort of like Yellow Rocks. We're going to keep this out of play so no one can like do any cutesy little corner cutting or anything like that. You're going to need to fight for every foot of space. And that's basically it. If you have any questions on any of the rules, make sure you are reading them in this HopUp event or in the Google Check-in Informant guide, because there's going to be some specific stuff on there as well. If you're reading it and it still doesn't make sense to you, that's probably my bad. Please email, DM me, find me, talk to me, call the Arms Room store if you want to. Get a hold of me directly. Don't ask anyone other than me. Ask me about your format and your rule questions, because I'm the one writing this event. And otherwise, I love you guys. I will see you in November.